Just believe us, we trying to teach you the rights to read you. It's just procedure, baby.
Trials, instruction, procedure. AWS gon' teach ya. Trials, instruction, procedure. AWS gon' teach ya. Here's a tip, don't get it twisted. Stay focused on.
Have you ever want to run for office but just didn't know where to start? Well, you came to the right place because today on Attorneys with Swag, we have two special guests that's going to go over how to run for city council, which is one of the most important positions in New York City's political landscape. So I'm very happy to be in this episode. Please introduce yourself to the audience. I'm Eugene Tucson, as you know.
My name is Shakur Joseph. I'm running for City Council in District 16.
My name is Elizabeth Sanchez. I'm also running for City Council in District 9, Harlem.
Yeah, and you guys know this guy. So like I said, we're doing the process of running for City Council and here in New York City. But before we start, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to support us, we have a Patreon, or you could donate on our website. Everything helps. So let's start with the basics. What made you guys run for office?
So I've worked in education for about 14 years now.
Okay.
And my work has been through advocacy, it's been through community engagement. I've been supporting families and students for so long. And I'm born and raised inside of my district. Okay. So I grew up in District 16. I have friends in District 16. I have elders who have taught me everything in District 16. So I wanted to make more of an impact inside of my direct neighborhood and be able to actually support with some of like the bigger pressing things like food insecurity, housing, and like all of like those things that affect me and the people that I know and the people that's like literally all around New York City. So that's like where my calling came from.
And for those who don't know, what neighborhoods encompass District 16? So
it's Concourse Village, it's Morsania, it's High Bridge, it's pieces of Mount Eden. I think I'm probably missing one, and that's awful.
We're fine.
No, that's I think
we'll put it at the bottom. We'll make sure.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Same question, right?
Yes.
So I've been an educator for 27 years, a little more, and similar to Shakur, I've been very involved in the classroom, in the community, building families, helping children, understanding what they need to thrive in the community. You know, sometimes people think that when you teach, it's just in the classroom, but you help them also thrive outside of the classroom. Sure. And being an older person, I've wanted a change, and the change came to me. And having a conversation with Shakur, he says to me one day, you know, you're so involved at work and you're always talking about wanting to change this school building or other schools. Why don't you get a little more involved in your community and run for city council? And I said, oh, I don't know anything about politics. You know, I have a lot to learn. And he says to me, but you have the passion and you could take that passion and change schools. I said, that's it. That's all you had to say to me. I can help my community and I can make sure that schools are thriving and making sure that the schools get the funding that they need. One of my platforms is more funding for schools. I look at my classroom where I work now, and 90% of the students don't have tech at home. It breaks my heart. In New York City, 90% of the students don't. And I walk around my neighborhood, it's not always the safest. And as a woman walking around, people with families, I feel that everyone should have a better quality of life, fair housing. It's a disaster the way people live and how they're getting treated, and it's just not fair, you know. So I would like to bring my passion as an educator and just spend my time making the community where I live a better place, quality of life, starting with schools and making the neighborhood a better place.
All right. So like when considering like just making the decision to start this process, like what are the things, like how did you educate yourself to make the decision, and what kind of things could you have done to begin to kind of like prepare yourself, not necessarily prepare yourself, but to line everything up so that when you start the process, you're in the right places? Like, are there like, do you start with community boards or do you volunteer? Like, what did you guys do in starting the process? What would you wish you could have done?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to run back in 2020. Okay. So it started a while ago. It was like around the time of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, and it was like the beginnings of COVID. So it was just like a lot of like civil unrest, and I felt like very moved and passionate to like do it, but at that time, I was like super engaged at my job. I was helping families. I was doing things. So I felt like I had my cup filled. Like I felt like I had a bucket that I wanted to protect. So I didn't do it at that time. But last year, my little brother and me and my sister, we were out to dinner. We were talking about it. They brought it up again. It was just like, why haven't you ran yet? And it was kind of just like a very interesting time frame because it was like a year before the election. And I was just like, you know what? This is the moment. This is the time. Like, I have the passion, I have the strategies, I have the solutions. I want to make some sort of impact. So that got me into it. And I still have to think about it though. So like from that time frame up until I want to say late September of last year, I was still just pondering, thinking. I was like balancing work, I was doing all of these things, but then I just like dived in and I registered with the Board of Elections probably like end of October, and then the campaign just started. So like from November down, I built my team, which was like super critical for me, and then we just kind of had to like figure it out. When I tell you I had no context or idea of like what to do, how to do it, I just kind of like figured everything out as I went along. And I think that was one of the hardest things that I would say anybody joining in politics would face. You have to like start like a whole year behind. You have to like go to your community boards. You have to build your team well ahead of time. You have to start thinking about endorsements. You have to start thinking about like how you're going to collect petitions. There's just like so much strategy that you have to build in the year before the election year that I didn't have the opportunity of doing. So like I got in, and then every single day since then I've just been learning. So it's just like learning on the job, figuring out how to do X, Y, and Z. So hardest thing that I would say I've ever done in my entire life.
Did you have the same experience?
I had the same experience. I also feel that someone who loves their community and is involved is someone who can do this type of work. You know, you have to be prepared to be out there and talk to a lot of people and know what's happening in your neighborhood. And you mentioned, and Shakur mentioned as well, community board meetings, activities, just get out there, you know, younger people get involved and have your name out there so that you're understanding how things work. You know, it's super hard, it's super tiring. Running for city council is a job on its own, and I have a full-time job already. So at the end of the night, you feel like, oh my gosh, you know, but it's good work because you feel important. For me, it's learning so much. It's fantastic because I'm also, even though I'm an educated person, I'm learning more how politics works and government, and it's exciting.
Okay, and you mentioned like getting your team together. Like what encompasses a team? Like what roles do you have to fill in order to successfully run for city council?
So in my day job, I'm a director of operations out of Charter Network, and I understand how to put people in like specific positions. So I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I think when I approached how to make my team, I know that you need somebody to support you with events. You need people to support you with your communication. You need people that's going to help you like build partnerships, build community. So like I started out with those three roles, but then it kind of like blossomed. So now I have a team of 12, and there's fundraisers, which is like a beast in and of itself. I have like 2 people helping me with social media. I have somebody that's helping me build partnerships, somebody on events. I have a community engagement person. Like one of the things I want to say is like the hardest piece is like there's people who are running for city council right now that have gone on leave from their day job and they have the means to kind of like, you know, support themselves financially while they run. Like I don't have that type of opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm working during the day and I'm also simultaneously running for city council. So I rely heavily on my team to kind of like fill in those gaps where I'm not able to fill in those. So like that like team supports me around the clock.
Are they volunteers, or I guess
Solely volunteers. Like it's
volunteers.
teachers, it's single parents. It's just like people that believe inside of the mission that has been committed with me since like literally I filled out all of the documents for the Board of Elections, and from there I told them like, this is what I want to do, this is my vision, and they've just been with me since. So it's like all volunteer based. It's all just like folks who believe inside the mission that's kind of like plugging in everywhere. And I honestly would not be anywhere without my team. So yeah, dynamic folk.
That's amazing. For me, it's kind of the opposite. I've had a difficult time creating a team. I find that some people who are older right now, they're not trusting the political climate that we're in, and they kind of have not wanted to be involved in anything that has to do with politics. But I am part of Shakur's team as well, so I'm learning a lot when we're there, and they also help me. But it's been hard to create a team. The hardest part for me has been the raising money. And no one wants to contribute too much to anything that has to do with politics and government, and I understand why, you know. And it's hard. It's been very hard. It's been difficult, you know.
So like starting at the beginning, like what, like, I know we don't have to get too much into the weeds of the paperwork, but like what is the beginning process? Like you have to register. I know you have to, you mentioned something about when we were discussing earlier, petitioning. Like what is the beginning process of running for office?
So the beginning steps of running is...
Yeah, I think this may be a stupid question, but it's not a stupid question because we haven't, what political party you guys run under?
I'm a Democrat.
So I was a Democrat before, but my petitions got challenged. So now I'm petitioning again as an independent. I had to pay for a lawyer to go in, and I didn't have that money. So now I'm collecting signatures again.
Okay.
Okay. And it got challenged by the Democratic Party?
Yes, and I can afford to go in and defend myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you have to, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Do you have to hire a lawyer to do that? Could you have pro se'd that, like represented yourself, or it?
So you can.
Mm-hmm.
You can do everything by yourself, but as a outsider in looking into the establishment, it's so much legality and just like backdoor politics that you kind of have to navigate, where if this is your first time running, you will ultimately fail. So you need to have a lawyer on hand. You need to have all of those folks that's able to go in and petition. And like, thank God, like I've been able to like fundraise and like navigate. So like I was able to like pay for a lawyer, but that's like people who are contributing to you, that's paying for you just in case you get challenged. And that's just money that's coming out of the campaign to get there. So without the lawyer, it's one of the hardest things that you can do.
So I guess piggybacking on that question, are you guys not the establishment's candidate? Is that how it works?
No. So we're not. Both of us are going up against incumbents.
Yes.
Right. So it's people that's been inside the seats. I would say early on, I understood that I was the outsider. Like, and very transparently, I would go to some of these events and like people would say like, oh, like you're Shakur, like, oh, you're the person running.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, oh, so you know me now. All right, cool. And it's well, I keep saying like it's one of the hardest things, but like this whole process is super hard. And then politics right now isn't friendly to newcomers. It's not. It's one of the things where like, unless you've been through somebody's team, you've like grown up inside of politics, like your parents were politicians, or you've interned somewhere at a really young age, it's super hard to get in because it's all protected. Like you technically pass the ball to the next person, and that's the person that you heavily endorse, you put in front of people. So it's like, for me, who works inside of a school, or for both of us who work inside of schools, right? Like we have a community of families that know us, but when you have somebody that's in the seat, that's like every event that they go to, they're showcasing the candidate that they want inside their seat. Right. Every opportunity, like there's mailers that's going out. Unless you're like fundraising every single day, building money, building connections, and just have the most free time, you will hit such a wall that it takes a lot for you to climb over.
Okay. It takes passion, I think, to climb over. It takes wanting to reach a mission, wanting to do something for your community. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't be sitting here, you know, because like I said before, it's difficult, you know, you feel heartbroken, like you're trying to reach some steps and then you go down, you know, we're human, you know, and but I'm here.
I mean, like historically, New York City has historically been like this, right? Tammany Hall, like the pay-to-play, protected, you know, democratic political machine, the boss tweeting shit like that. So like, it seems like things have never changed, which is like, I don't think it's just old people that have been pulled off to politics and stuff like that. But is this part of the problem, like with like money in politics and the why you know, people are so dissatisfied with the broader picture of politics is because of what you just said. You can't break in. You just have to be an extension of who already was there and their bad policies, and it's just like a nepotism game, except without the like bloodline transfer down. And then what happens is staleness in politics, and then you get some fucking psycho like Trump that comes in, and then he shakes up the shit just because people want shit shaken up, shaken up, something like that. Yeah, it's interesting. It's depressing because I think of what y'all has said so far was what most of New Yorkers would like to hear and need, right?
It's interesting that you say that because, you know, as I've gone to petition, you meet people and they just pour out their feelings and they're like, are you sure, you know, when you win, are you going to remember me? Are you going to change? Are you going to make sure that you know, you say that one of your platforms is fair housing. Are you going to make sure that, you know, when we call and we have a problem that you're going to deliver? And I'm like, let's take a picture. Of course I will. I live down the block, you know, I live 5 blocks from here. Of course I'm going to remember. I live here. I want to make this place a better place for all of us. I want to be able to walk around at night and feel okay, and with my daughter as well, you know. Wow. It's actually been beautiful meeting and talking to just people, you know, that even though they're not happy, but they feel happy meeting us when we go and knock on their doors to ask for their support. Okay. Yeah.
So I guess let's get into a little bit of the paperwork, but it seems like the beginning part, the big process is petitioning.
So there's a lot of like basic steps, but those basic steps dictate if you get to run. So the basic steps is you register online.
Okay.
You pick your campaign name. Traditionally, you do your first name and then the year that you're running, or last name and the year you're running. I didn't do that because I didn't actually know that that's what you're supposed to do. So mine is something super fancy.
What is your campaign name?
Legacy Campaigns. I was just like, this sounds dope. Everybody's gonna love that. And then my first video was like, yeah, I mean, you could keep it, but nobody does that. I was like, okay, all right, okay, cool. But you pick your campaign name, then you jump through the hoops and ladder of opening a campaign bank account. And
yes, I was just thinking about that.
I went to like 4 banks, visited each bank like 2 times because it's very complex where some people, it's a hard thing to actually open up a campaign bank account.
Why is that?
Because a lot of like the branches don't actually experience that unless you're like downtown at like 59th Street or somewhere. A lot of the places that's on like 125th Street are up. They've never had somebody come in and say like, I need to open up a campaign bank account. So something actually like unique and special, and the Campaign Finance Board recommends specific banks, but even then you have to find the right person that knows like, oh, this is just how you do it. This is how you classify.
You got to get a trust account.
Yes. This is all of those things, right? So it took me about like a week and some change going to like the same bank multiple times, trying to talk to different people just to open it up. So like that's already a barrier there. And then it's all of like the legalese of like, you're now like, do I run as a 504c? You know, like any of those things. So I filled out a bunch of forms that didn't need to fill out. I submitted a bunch of things to people that was just like, I don't know what this is.
Wow.
So it's like, unless you have somebody who's like a career politician or have been through the process, you're going to.
You didn't dabble with the ChatGPT?
Listen,
I would have do it all through ChatGPT.
Can I say that was the first time I've ever downloaded ChatGPT, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do? And it still just kind of took me in a circle. So like, thank God I was able to kind of like figure it out in like a very, because you have a window to have everything open, and then you have to start all back over if you don't meet that window. So
What do you mean by there's a what do you mean by that?
Deadlines that you have to meet.
yeah, so like once you register, you have about
okay.
a couple of weeks to
Yeah.
have everything open.
Lined up?
Yeah.
What type of bank account do you have to have open?
So right now I have a TD account, and I just went into the branch, spoke to the branch manager because I couldn't speak to a teller. I just said I need to speak to the branch manager. They was just like, oh, you need to do this. Don't even know what type of account it is. I promise you, but they opened it. Well, I was just
What's your account number, your social security, and when does your card end?
Well, if y'all want to donate, let me know. I'll give it to y'all. But no, so like that was a very interesting hurdle that you have to jump through, and then it's just like. Then you go into the portal of the Campaign Finance Board.
Okay.
Because now it's like outside of the Board of Election, it's now the big money people who like monitor compliance and everything. And it's just like a process. So I would say like in total, it took me about a month to kind of navigate through, and I had to beg. I was like, I'm out of the window. I'm sorry.
Who you begging?
Whoever was the first person at the Finance Campaign Board that spoke to me, I was just like, look, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. I need time. And thank God I have like a really dope liaison who was just like, okay, this is what you do. This is how you do it. And like, I can't actually give you the specifics on X, Y, and Z, but you're going
Very
in the
helpful.
right direction.
Yes, very
right?
helpful.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
very
like,
helpful.
Why can't I make a map?
listen,
This is why most politicians are lawyers.
Yeah.
Like the vast majority of people in Congress and shit like that are all come from a legal background, because then you don't have to hire somebody.
well, there is a guidebook. There's a
Okay.
guidebook. I believe the guidebook is like 300 pages.
Oh no.
It's like something even larger than that. And then there's another.
Should have fed that shit to
Yeah, right? Like,
You feed it to ChatGPT, you'd be like, yo, my man, explain this.
There's another book that specifically says the rules, right? So then it's another bit of stuff that you have to read. And unless you're like trained in understanding like legal language, it is one of the hardest things.
And then
that you
there's
have to
Zooms that
navigate.
you have to go on
Barriers.
Zoom calls and listen and take trainings and meet deadlines and just go through that.
Like there's like required trainings you
Yeah.
have to take
Yes.
to run.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to them, and they're like 2 hours, and you have to take notes and remember what to do, what not to do, what to fill out, what not to fill out.
Oh, wow.
It's important
So,
that people know that it's a
I would say
separate.
the trainings
right.
are more what you're not supposed to do
Yes,
rather than
yeah.
like this is what
That's
we
true.
tell you to do.
Yeah.
So they'll give you a list of like don't do this, you can't do that, and then it kind of leaves it up to interpretation of like, so can I do this?
Right.
And then they can't really answer it because it's like
Well,
yeah,
I can't give you specific guidance on this.
What's like something that rings to the top of your head that was like, oh wow, like I didn't know that, or like
certain when it comes to contributions, who can contribute and who can't contribute. You know, you have friends who have businesses, and you're thinking, okay, well, you know what, my friend owns a restaurant, maybe they can donate X amount of money.
Did Eric Adams? Did he watch this video?
I mean,
You sure he bit? Did he? Did he accept
you
money to
retain
not
it?
watch it?
Oh, listen, I don't know. You have to retain. Also, note that it's like a 3-hour training here with like 2 15-minute breaks, and then another 2-hour
It's a
training
lot of information.
with like
Yeah.
they give you like 10 minutes, and then you got to be back because they'll start, and it's all online, so it's not even engaging. You just have to listen. You can't speak. There's no mic. Like it's
Can't ask
wild.
questions.
It's
No. Well, actually,
You can like raise the
sometimes
raise
you can,
hand
yeah,
and then chat.
sometimes, yeah.
that's a little frowned upon.
It
was
is
like-
frowned upon, and then I think
It's
a lot.
really-
No, wait. Listen, frowned upon. It's like they move so
Frowny
fast
face.
that like.
yo, my man, 3 hours is enough.
And then you get to see who asked the question. So
Yeah.
you know, you see online who's there.
You don't know what's like a silly question
Right.
because like I've unmiked and there's probably people like every time you run you have to take these. So like
So it's filled with even the incumbents.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
people who have run in other elections, you have to do it every year, but it's not necessarily how to run. It's like what you can get in trouble for. Like what is it that you need to avoid? So it's really all just compliance-based stuff. They don't actually walk you through like how to fill out paperwork
No.
or this is the calendar that you have to follow. All of that is what you have to figure
Something
out.
I realized like when I like starting the journey and like to become a lawyer was everything is a fucking weeding out process.
Yeah.
Like the whole system is this whole system, you know, God bless America, is a funnel to weed people out of things. And then there are different types of screens. And then you get through one screen, there's another screen, there's another screen. Well, for better or worse, a lot of time at the end of that screen, what falls through are white people. But 100%. I mean, the barriers so far that you said, you know, benefit, you know, people that come from communities that aren't like that, you know, experienced to a lot of the things that we all know what we're talking about.
You're 100% correct.
And for those who don't, it's okay.
If you don't know,
we can't help you.
No.
Hey, we can't help you then. Pick up a book. Start with Malcolm X. I lost my train of thought. But no, but
you're talking about the filters.
This is what you guys are talking about. And then at the end of that filter is the get in line portion of it, right? Which is the line of like get behind somebody else and wait for your turn, right? So that it's interesting, like, but it's just every single, you know, all those different things are just filters.
So there is like a ad, or it's like this mantra of like, politics is for the people. It's really not. It's for the people who have billions of dollars, who can invest into a lawyer who has a retainer that can handle all of those things, who could get people to collect signatures for you, to be able to pay a team, right? Because a volunteer team can only do but so much. You have to have people that is around the clock working for you. And then it's just like so many other things. Like you're building a website, you're doing all those things. It's just like so many like fine cost of things. I feel like I made a push card. Like my campaign card, that costs so much money to make.
What's
and
a
then you
push
have
card?
to, it's like basically it's just my campaign card. It has my face on it, talks about all the things that I'm running on.
Like,
It's exactly something like that. But it's like, you have to get volumes of it, because you're not just getting like 100. You have to get volumes, because it's like you have to engage people in like so many different ways. And then you have to like have time. If you're working, if you're a teacher, if you are a parent, if you're anything, your time is like one of the most important things that you need in order to run. Because if you're balancing a day job and you're balancing all the other responsibilities in life, when do you have time to actually get out in front of people and speak? So you need to have a lot of resources. So like the idea of like politics is for everybody, it isn't, unless you're like this anomaly that's gonna grind and just be outside every hour of the day.
In the sense of like, you know, like you can vote for like bad or a little bit worse, right? Then like you have the choice to pick between two shitty options. But like in the way that's really important, like where like anybody that's really qualified and better and can actually be a not shit to or shit light option can get into the ring. No, I mean, like I said, there's barriers designed so those people really almost impossible for even get into the ring
And
to
you need
get
the
there.
visibility.
Yeah,
Those
people need to
who
know
have
who
the
you
money
are.
has the visibility.
And social media can change that game. You know, that's the, I mean, still it's a play to play.
Pay to play.
Yeah, my dyslexia. I got you beat with ADHD. I got dyslexia. I can't read. I see shit backwards. Sorry.
So, all right. So you register. You line everything up. How long is the period that you have to have everything lined up?
I believe you have about, I want to say they give you about like a month to have everything in order.
And like, what are the big things that you need to have lined up besides the bank account?
So you need to have
Campaign name.
Campaign name.
You need to have like those basics behind it, right? You need to know what you're running on. You need to know what your platforms are. You know all those. Like I feel like those are just like the givens. I think what happens next is from right out the gate you have to start fundraising.
Okay.
Like you have to be able to have a community of folk that's willing to be able to dish out money. And
Those are the two hardest things: the fundraising and petitioning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing fundraising, if you can do it successfully, is going to help the petitioning process.
significantly.
Yes.
Okay.
So New York
And
City.
the visibility.
The visibility.
Yes.
Yeah. So New York City actually has a really dope program. They match. It's called the Matching Funds program.
Oh, that's what Adams is getting.
Yeah,
trouble for.
one of the many things. Officer Adams, thank you for your service, Mary Adams.
One of the things I love about this
Crook.
like
Sorry.
So one of the things I really do love about actually running is that one, there's a lot of requirements that you have to hit before you get matching funds. So there's like a bunch. There's not really like a bunch of requirements, but it's hard to necessarily get there. But once you qualify for matching funds, the city matches every donation 8-1. So like if you were to donate $10 to the campaign, the city would match it 8 times.
8 times?
Eight times.
Yeah, it's a great program to get people who don't have access to millions of dollars to be able to compete with them.
The hard
So that
part
$10
is that
is $90.
you have to have the people in your district donate a certain amount first before everyone else's gets matched. That's the catch.
So what's the threshold?
So the threshold is you need 75 people within your district to donate a total of $5,000.
Oh, that's
not
okay.
bad.
That's doable.
So it's not bad.
What's
But what's the
5,000?
average?
So
What's
what's
the average?
$66.
Is the average donation?
A person. Oh well,
what's the,
average
that was the
donation.
question. Yeah.
I average about $20 a person. So like I live in the South Bronx, and I'm a part of one of the. So one of the harder things is like I'm a part of one of like the most financially insecure districts, right? So
And counties.
I've had some people who actually I have somebody on my team who volunteered for another city council person's election a few years ago, and they were in like the 59th Street area, and they were just like, yeah, I was able to hit that threshold within a day. Because it's like, you know, the people, they're going to call their friends, they're going to do this, they're going to like basically like set you up.
Yeah.
Inside of the Bronx, it's like, I've knocked on doors where there's like people that are literally just like on their last dollar, right? I've knocked on, like, I have friends, I have family, I have all of those things, but it becomes like the burden of like, I need you to donate to my campaign for a potential win. So it's like you're financially contributing, and I think like, thank God I have a network and I've lived in the district, so I know people, but
People are living paycheck to paycheck.
Oh.
And their dollars are counted.
We are living. It's paycheck to paycheck, baby.
People are living. Yeah.
Who isn't?
You hear Eugene Tucson lost his job, and attorney to swag will go down quickly thereafter.
Yeah.
So
For now.
So that's-
Luckily, it's legal aid.
That's what makes it hard.
Yeah, facts.
Got a
That's
solid
what
place.
makes it hard.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
even qualifying for matching funds, some of your donations may be invalid. Like,
Okay, what makes a donation invalid?
so there is like this like science behind getting your. So you get. So let's go back. Every other month, you submit something called a disclosure statement. You're
Okay.
basically submitting everything that's happened over these past like month or 2 months. So it's everything you spend, everything you've fundraised, everything that has been in-kinded to you. It's basically like this comprehensive
The record
report.
keeping.
What's in kind in me?
Yeah.
Like people giving you things. So like if you don't donate to me, say if like you have mugs and you want to gift me mugs, right? That's not money, but I still need to record that as you've given me
contribution.
something.
Is it like how and sorry I just have sorry, I'll explain myself later. I interrupt people too much. It's so impulsive. See, I can't even, I'm impulsive. I can't even help myself right now.
Oh,
See,
it's
I'm like
all right. Go for it,
over-explaining
baby.
myself. All right, thank you. He's a good guy. Like how petty does that, or how minute to this detail? Like if somebody bought you a dinner, or like took you out to dinner, do you have to report that?
So I actually don't know about that part. No one's ever taken me out to dinner, so I can't get in trouble for that. But you report everything that you do, basically. It's like you breathe, you need to report that inside of this document. And if you're off, if you've missed something, if somebody's name is spelled inaccurately, their address is missing something, like those can disqualify that donation
right.
from qualifying for matching funds.
Okay.
So there's tons of things that you have to just be like super tight with, and that's why people have lawyers, because some of those lawyers help with that, or you can outsource that, right? So somebody can be your treasurer. You can outsource a treasurer. They can monitor all of that and just watch it around the clock, be able to communicate with people. But if you don't have the team behind you that can call somebody and say like, hey, your donation was flagged because, you know, this address was written wrong or you inputted it wrong, and people are on their phones and you do like auto-populate happens all the time. So it can auto-populate something, right?
What's that? What's auto-populate?
I know I have things auto-populated, right? And my mom's address is on a lot of stuff. So like if I'm not paying attention, like it could just say my mom's address rather than my address, and then that's a flag because it doesn't match things. So that would disqualify that unless you like go through this like back end channel to fix it. And it's just time. It's time, it's resources. So some people could qualify for matching funds fairly quick, but once you get audited and once they go through everything, a lot of stuff could possibly be just considered like invalid. And
now, a big question is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was going to say, sometimes people donate and they use their credit cards, which makes things easier because most of the paperwork is done. And then some people want...
Use your credit cards.
Some people
cash
say
is
they have cash. They don't like to use their credit cards. So you have to do all the paperwork and be very careful.
The cash ones.
Yes.
It's so easy to mess up on cash donations.
Yeah.
Man.
Any little thing. It's so many little red flags or little boxes that you have to check every
now, it's
so
not
often.
all bad, John.
Right. No, well, you
it's
know,
not all bad,
it's doable. It's just that when you work during the day and then you come out of work and you have to continue, it's just very time consuming. It's a interesting and it's a great process and a great journey, but it's also a lot. It's not something where you snap your fingers and you're there. You know, you have to be dedicated, and you really have to want to do the work, because if not, it's just not going to happen. You know?
Okay. So like, I guess in the beginning process, you register, you start fundraising, you're formally lined up to get on the ballot, the ballot, right? One of the first landmark things you can get is the matching program.
Yeah.
Now, so I guess the big question I have is 8-to-1, meaning you get 5,000. That 5 is going to turn the total to 45.
Yes. You're good at math. I would have done 10.
Listen,
that's way easier to add 8 to that. You went to 5? Shit. You're smart.
5 is the minimum.
Yeah, so, but I know I'm talking about math though. I was like, I could tell. You did that easily.
So, I mean, there are limits for people. So you can't donate under $10. Anything under $10 won't get matched. And then there's a max. You can't donate over $175 for match, because it's that window that gets matched.
All right, so but just humor me, right? If my man wants to donate $300, can I just tell my man to split that up, homie? Where's your wife?
All right, so you have all right, this is actually kind of dope. You have a scale. So the max that any person can donate to your campaign for city council specifically is $1,050.
Okay.
But after $175 that they've donated to you, it won't get matched. It's just money that comes into your campaign. So there's a cap.
Is there a time period where that can, or like, no, it's just as soon as you have exceeded that $175, it doesn't matter. They're not going to match anything.
Because it's tied to that person.
Right.
You can.
Okay.
So the 175 does get matched, and there's windows that it can match. So it's pre-ballot. Sorry, not pre-ballot. It's pre-primaries.
Okay.
So, all right, it's the year before the election. So that, say last year, 2024, that's a window.
Okay.
Once you hit January to the
Another
primaries,
window.
that's another
And then
window.
after the primaries is another
after
window.
primaries to general
okay.
election, that's another window.
Word.
So I guess
constantly
would you like, let's say for example you have someone that, hey, I support you, I got you, I got the max for you. Do you advise
Every
them,
window.
Do you advise them to split it up amongst the windows?
Now, we don't advise anybody to do anything.
Was that in the video?
No, we don't advise anybody to do anything.
Okay.
But if you choose to break it up, yes, that works perfectly.
And I guess are the choices are like on a menu somewhere?
There's no menu. There's no anything.
You gotta figure it out.
So if somebody donates over a specific amount, you have to refund them. that
Okay.
also hits you for matching funds because that's like an error that's happened. Like you could get, I forget what the word that they use, but it's like you have a certain percentage of like mess ups that you can do, and if you mess up over a specific amount, then it reduces your matching funds, or you get disqualified.
I missed
from
that part of the
collecting.
video.
Oh wow!
Is it only?
Listen,
Of the Zoom.
I missed so much from the video.
I missed that. I missed
Is
that.
it only? So like, is individuals have a limit? 'Cause, like entities.
Entities can't donate to you. So a business,
No
like
entity at all?
nothing. It
Zero?
just
Oh,
can
only
just
only
be
people.
individuals,
People, yeah.
So like,
that's
as
good,
Sanchez
right?
was saying, like if you know a friend that has a restaurant, like you
Which I
can't
do.
use that space for free.
Yeah.
Because that's business back. I actually don't know what the actual
I guess
like
it's
rule
in-kind
behind it.
donation?
No, it's not. It's like you can't do that at all.
No,
You
no, no.
have to pay for everything.
Well, so a friend who owns a restaurant can't allow you to use the space.
No.
You have
Now,
to
when
pay.
you say you have to pay, how much you gotta pay?
Right?
What if
so
you-
it has to be open to the whole public.
Yeah.
That's the way around it.
What if a friend owns
What do you
like
mean?
a specific airline and gives you free upgrades, like from like Turkey or something
Wait a
like that?
minute. No.
I don't like
Did
Mayor
you come
Eric
on this-
Adams.
did
I
you
don't
come on
like.
this episode?
I don't like Mayor Eric Adams.
Did you shit on Eric Adams?
Look. You testified in Floyd versus City of New York, and you said stopping frisk was wrong, and you said it was predatory against black people, and then you brought it back. Fuck you. How you? And then you go say you're the reason why? Come on, dogs. Come on.
I feel like all
We have
that
a word
policy
for you.
stuff-
We have a word for you. We have a word for you. A couple of words. There's a couple of words for
Let's
you.
keep him off the podcast.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm just saying. I take that a little personally. I take it a little personally.
Yeah, listen, actually, there's some mayoral candidates that are actually really dope.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're really dope.
I think so, too.
Because
so
this is
too.
what I can't say.
Yeah. I mean,
We want to keep our 501c3.
I mean, we're not endorsing anybody, but I am excited to vote for New York City mayor this year.
Me too.
I'm
For the
super
first
excited.
time in a while. Hopefully it doesn't like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, for
Yeah.
the first time in a long
Yeah.
time, I'm actually really
Same
excited.
Yeah,
here.
about it.
it's
Same
been
here.
just a long time of just shit mayors.
Well, I'll be honest. I had times where I wasn't involved in any voting in any politics at all, for some of the same reasons that some people are hesitant now, because you begin to not believe.
Oh, I still don't
You know?
believe. I never
Yeah.
will believe.
Yeah.
That was taken away from me as a child. But I always vote just because I don't see why not to. Right? Like I don't believe you have to believe in any of this bullshit to actually participate in it. But I think those are two separate things. I mean, I've been so disenchanted for a long
Right,
time,
right.
literally since a kid. You know, like and so. It's upsetting. I hearing you guys brings like warmth to my cold heart.
That's fantastic.
I'm so cold. I'm so cold.
That's fantastic.
My IG is called Mr. Optimist Prime because I am an exact opposite.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I'm
like,
very
like that.
optimistic.
Well, I would say I
not
lost significant hope in the democratic process when. I'm a firm believer in Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, me too.
I loved everything that Bernie ran on. And
Yeah.
he was the catalyst of why I'm interested in politics.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He is actually,
Hell yeah.
he's the reason why I even thought about running in 2020. And then just to like see that like this person that has such widespread love didn't get the nomination.
Yeah.
Oh, they
for,
stole
like,
it from him.
whatever reason.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, this is this is a rigged process.
Yeah,
You gotta
100%.
put in the people
100%.
that you want to follow, which follows the same thing that you noted.
we get head cop prosecutor chosen for us.
So listen, I was heartbroken when Bernie lost. I was just like,
Yeah, twice.
All right.
All right, yeah, okay.
Let's get back on.
Sorry, we can talk about that afterwards.
So my question,
Yeah.
I feel like I started it and never.
Yeah, my bad. It's always my
I
fault.
like the episodes a little spicy. A little spicy doesn't hurt. A little spicy.
Sometimes I can't help myself.
It's good.
It's so
How quickly do you get that matching money? How quickly does the 5 turn to 45? Because I would imagine you work hard for the 5, or maybe you work hard for whatever you get organically, life will be a little easier if that extra 40 came. Maybe you could pay a little staffer, you could do a little thing. How quickly you get it?
So, I thought that I was going to get matching funds last cycle.
Okay.
Not last cycle. So each disclosure statement, it's like every other month. So I think the last one was February. Then it's March. It was something like that. And then the next one is May. So I secured the threshold really easily.
Okay.
But with all of like the errors, right? Like misspelled names or, somebody crossed something out. Like that actually, I had to fix a lot. So once you have to fix a lot, they give you time to fix it, but you're not getting matching funds. So I am hopeful that I fixed everything so far, but you won't know until you won't know that you fixed everything until they say your name. And then after the hearing, once they give you the list of everybody that met it, probably like a day later, you get, this is why you didn't meet it. And it's for these reasons why. So you don't even get a chance to fix it before that hearing date.
Okay.
You kind of just have to either have a hired person that has an eye for it.
Okay.
Or you just have to wait and then wait for the next round. So you could get matching funds within your first, you register in January, the next disclosure statement is February, you could get it February.
So
it's super
if
quick.
you do it correctly,
If
the
you do it
money goes
correctly.
in your account.
So after you submit your disclosure statement, they go into review, and then the day of the review is when it comes into your account. So
straight
I
up,
think it's
cash money.
Couple weeks.
So this next disclosure statement is the 23rd of this month, where we have to submit all of our stuff for the past month and a half, and then May 30th is the hearing when they tell you that you've won, and on that day you get it. But you gotta kind of have to figure out if you've messed up.
Yeah, because the election,
June.
Primaries?
The primaries is June 24th.
Coming
primary
up.
is June 24th.
June 24th.
It's coming up.
So there's two more options. There's two more opportunities for you to get it before primaries. The first payout, the next payout is May 30th, and then the next one is June 11th. After that, there's no more opportunity until you've gone past the primaries.
And I'll just say the reason you want matching funds, like you mentioned before.
That's money.
Yeah, you can do activities, and when you
course,
do these activities, you know, in your neighborhood, people can get to know who you are. You know, because you can't do activities for free. Back to if you have a friend who owns a restaurant and they believe in you, you can't just go there and say, you know, you can't do
Now
that.
going back to that question, you said
Yeah.
something about it has to be open to the public.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay a minimum, or can they allow you to have the space as long as the event is open to the public?
So it's not necessarily open to the public, is that if I have a friend who has a restaurant and they offer it to me to say hey, you can use my space for free to do whatever, that space has to be able to be offered to every candidate inside of the
Oh,
election,
get the
right?
fuck outta
So it
here.
has to be
I'm sorry.
open to everybody. It has to be something that's
No
posted.
personal favors.
No personal favors.
No personal
exactly
favors,
like that.
basically.
But you can get some Nino Brown type candidate handing out turkeys with all their money,
Right.
and then
And
know
that's-
themselves, and that's how it's done.
So it's harder. So this is the thing. For people that go up against incumbents, you face the challenge of going with somebody who's already in the seat. So technically, you have the seat. You have the power to send out mail. You have the power to do turkey drives. I can't do turkey drives as a candidate. I can't do that. I have to partner with a nonprofit. I have to do something, but I couldn't just get turkeys and hand them out.
Well, that's really
bribing
they do that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Thanksgiving is
Did they get that from Nino Brown, or did Nino Brown get that from
Listen,
the elected official? Wait, who's the real hustler here? Wait.
So those are the things that you have to be able to know. I was going to do it was the dead of winter, and I was gonna pass out gloves and stuff to my former
couldn't.
elementary school, and I couldn't do that.
Why?
Because
Right.
that's the language around that is you're basically
You're taking care of the community
you're trying to swindle a vote out of somebody.
by taking care of the community.
So you can't do that.
Can't give food to homeless people. Can't work at a
No,
soup
no, no.
kitchen.
You can't, but an incumbent can? Why is that? I'm confused.
Because it's technically it's their job, right? So then you could put it underneath the facade of well, this is my responsibility in the job, But if you don't do it for the
Are
first
they-
3 years,
Are they okay? So, but are they in doing it? Are they restricted by what they say during it? Like, hey, vote
yeah.
for me.
I mean, you're restricted by anything, but unless somebody from the Board of Election or campaign finance is in the room, you can never really understand what that context is. So technically, they could do anything. It's frowned upon. You shouldn't be using the power of the office to, get yourself reelected.
They have their ways
So,
of
like,
speaking to the audience as
If
well.
you are an incumbent that has done nothing for the past 3 years, and then in the election year, the turkey drive, the food giveaways, and all of that, like, technically is your job, right? Like, you're doing something as your job, but it's one of the harder pieces where it's like, I can't do it, but because it's your job, you can do it.
So you wouldn't be able to like work in the soup kitchen or like could you not do
Yeah,
stuff?
so you
you
could do
can
that.
give you
Yeah.
all right, but you
Yeah.
just couldn't like publicize it and like
So
like
I think you could do all of that. It's just you can't give like physical goods. You can't be seen as somebody that's like being opportunistic.
Didn't Elon try to give someone $1 million for some crazy shit?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not I don't think he's a elected official. So technically, he can do whatever you want.
Who's that?
Mr. Musk.
Oh,
Mister.
Listen, yeah. So there is like, there's so many things that you have to learn along the way. So fortunate for me, like I have an operations mind, and I've been working in operations for the past like 10 years. So like I can pick up things fairly fast, and once I understand it, I can move accordingly to it. So like I've been super blessed where it's like I'm learning everything on as I'm running, but then like petitioning, which we'll probably get into in a short bit.
We're trying to.
Right? So like, all right, so we can get into petitioning. Petitioning, one, I didn't know what the window was for petitioning.
Okay.
I didn't know how to get petitions. Like I was on Canva probably 2 days into the petitioning window trying to make up my own petition. And then by the luck of God, I just called somebody who I met briefly. And I was just like, hey, can I just send you this petition for you to see it? And they were working on a mayoral campaign. And it was just like, well, this is what their petitions look like. Great. At the very bottom, I saw a phone number underneath their petitions. I was like, let me just call the number. Immediately, they was like, oh yeah, we just make your petitions for you.
Nice.
but that costs money.
I mean, that costs
Fact.
money. But
You
if
know?
you make a
Yeah.
petition and you mess it up in any way, a word
You're
is
out.
misspelled,
Disqualified.
anything,
You're out.
all those petitions
Yeah.
are garbage.
Yeah.
There's some things you just have to spend money.
You have
Yeah.
to, but
Yeah,
they don't
yeah,
tell
yeah.
you that. I
Yeah.
think that's the...
Jesus ain't running
You
for
have
office no
to-
time soon.
You have to figure it out. So thank God I knew somebody, right, that was able to like share this like nugget. Without that, I would have probably went into the Board of Election with this like janky Canva-made bunch of petitions.
Wow,
and they would
that's
probably laughed at me.
scary, bro.
And they would
Very
laugh at
scary.
me. So,
Well, this episode gonna help a lot. Shit, that's scary.
so I mean, thank God I was able to find the number. The gentleman was able to make the petitions, and then we were able to pick it up. Bunch of money to get those petitions made.
Crazy.
It was like $400 just for like a stack of 150 petitions.
Mm-hmm.
Just like sheets of paper.
Oh, okay, but each sheet can hold up like to
About
what?
10 to 15 signatures.
Yeah.
And the funny
Yo,
thing
what
is,
picture guy you got?
Listen,
Yeah.
and I feel like
150 for 400.
listen,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
everybody uses that
and you
one,
have
so
to
it's good.
sign and then print. You know that
I got a guy in
usually,
Queens. I feel like he ain't got good numbers.
usually when you're doing something, you print and then sign. This is the opposite. You have to sign and then print. And when you're holding it and people are gonna
So it wasn't that-
do their signature, they get confused, and you can't have it scratched out because that signature will get disqualified. It's very, very finicky. And then of course, you're getting signatures from people that you're introducing yourself and meeting them, so you don't want to be overly aggressive. You want to respect,
This is actually interesting because
Yeah.
like recently I'm getting knocks on my doors. And,
That's it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so like I always like interact with people like whether, I don't care because I like to like I'm weird and I like to like.
I should have knocked on your door.
Oh
I should've knocked on your
yeah.
door.
Unfortunately, I live in Long Island City, but
Did it have to be in your district?
Yes.
yeah.
Specifically,
But like for mayor, may or may not be the person I'm voting for, and he may not or may be a he, and he probably is, and he may or may not have the last letter of the alphabet as the first name. Or he may not. I don't know. I'm not just saying it's him, but he probably is because he's probably got the best policies laid forward. And I kind of want to continue to live in this city, which is really hard to do.
Which I like too.
Exactly.
I love too.
This is where I'm from. This is where I'm born. This is where this is like generationally where I'm from and born. I don't want to leave.
Facts.
So now I know what the fuck. Now I know why they want me to. Yeah, I know. Not only that, but like why they want me to sign something.
Right.
Like in my head, it's like you already got my vote.
Right.
Like you like go try to get somebody else. Like
Before they get your vote,
I didn't.
They need to meet the requirements to be on the ballot.
So, can we talk about that?
I didn't know.
I can talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So
I always sign though.
One, as a candidate running for the first time, you have to be so laser focused on just like the window, but there's a window. So like there will be a time where people's like, you've never knocked on my door before. It's because there's a window. You have basically a month to collect a total of 450 signatures on the city council ends.
450. Oh, that's not bad.
But
Yeah, but
Project.
there's a but.
I grew up in the project.
There's
I'm not on every one of those.
You live here.
But I grew up in the project.
So
If I run, I'm running in the pot. I'm running for my
listen to the
district.
but. If you collect 450 and one of them is wrong, you don't meet the ballot.
One?
yeah.
Wait.
There's,
So you have to collect more than
Oh, right.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes.
you have to get signatures from registered Democrats that, well, for us, we're Democrats.
Right.
So we're running for the Democratic ticket. You need to get registered Democrats who live in your district.
Okay.
Right? So for the most part, if you're not, say if like you don't know or you don't remember if you've ever like registered to vote, but then you're like, you know what, yeah, I feel it, but you're not. That's a signature that you feel confident about. That's like, oh, this person's a Democrat. If they're not, that's already somebody that's like now disqualified from your paper because they're not a registered Democrat.
And you don't know
And
because
you don't know.
yeah, and people may say, and people don't know in New York State, you have to be registered for the party that you're going to vote for in the parliament, and you can't, and so because people don't know that, and they say, oh, I vote Democrat, and I believe and I'm a Democrat, and they put their name on
Even
it.
if
I
you're
had people
independent.
say,
Right.
okay.
Because yeah,
In going through the process, like how of the percentage of the ones you submitted, how many were disqualified?
So I collected
interesting.
over 1,000 signatures,
Nice.
right? That was something that people was just like, make sure you collect about 1,500, right? So I got like really close to that number.
How long did it take you?
Huh?
How long did it take you?
It took me the full window.
Which
Up
is
until the
how long is
day.
the full window?
I believe it was like March 3rd to like April 3rd.
About a month.
Okay.
It was a month.
word.
After
And
work.
up until that last day, like I called out of work for like the last week. That morning that I had to turn in petitions, I was still knocking on
Would you
doors.
call out sick?
He said, look, I got some shit to do.
I was sick, right? Like I had the flu
I was
that week.
actually sick.
I had the flu.
I miraculously felt better, and I went out there and I grinded.
Every moment, up until like I met up with my lawyer, like I was knocking on doors that morning of trying to get as many in, and I was able to get close to 15. Once I turned it in, I got challenged, right? And my signatures got challenged. And one of the things before I get to that
Your
part is
threat.
like, technically, once you submit your petitions in, you're on a ballot. Like,
Okay.
it's your opponent's. If your opponent challenges you, that's when your petitions get reviewed, and then that's when
Or
the
someone else.
scrutiny- Yeah.
Sometimes you might have just a local person who challenges you.
Somebody pay somebody to say, hey,
Maybe.
yeah.
Which is
Because they don't want the
Exactly.
the vibe
because
of
it's
being
your
a
name
Right.
is public. Like,
How many
You get
people
the
are you up
name of the
against?
person who
How many people are you up
Just one other
against?
person.
Oh, so he looking at you. He
mean-
like, how many signatures he got?
Same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
They challenge your shit too?
yeah.
Oh.
So from that large number, I was knocked down to about 550
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
signatures. So they was able to get rid of.
550.
They was able to get rid of so much, and it's
Not
for
enough.
many reasons.
Not enough.
It's many reasons. So
Thank goodness.
How many
if-
got for you?
Like for
Less.
for whatever reason, so I know for me, when I first registered to vote, I had a completely different signature. I was like 18.
Same.
Right? I had a completely
Even
different
still today,
signature.
sometimes.
Yo.
Now I have a different signature, but if they go through and challenge it and they try to match up this signature with the one that you put, if that doesn't match that signature, so I could be a registered Democrat. I could live in your district. If I signed differently than what I did back when I first registered, gone.
Really?
You know what happened to
That's
me?
crazy.
You know what happened to me at the
Wow, that's interesting. Can you update your signature?
Well, no, so this has actually happened to me at the last primary when Bernie was going up for against fucking Biden, and I went into fucking wherever because I'm still registered where my parents live, because that's my most
another one.
That's my most constant fucking address. In Manhattan, yes. So I went there and I've always voted there, but when I registered to vote I was 18. And I'm 38. It's 20 fucking years later, or 37.
Hands got a little heavier.
No, but I didn't know. Like by the time I like became a lawyer and had to sign my signature in the fucking
backsmacked a few people.
I did all that when I was younger. I didn't do that when I was older.
Got the calluses from the violence.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't know that I could sign my signature with my initials, and I used to sign my whole name out. Fuck that. I was like, I can sign my initials. Do. So I did that, and then and that's how I signed it in my legal book. So all legal documents that I signed,
That's cool,
legally, my signature is just that. Yeah. And then so for the last elections, I was doing that. And so at that election, I went to sign in the book, and my pops got the same name as me, and I signed, but he's 30 years older than me. But I signed my election, and they try to ask for my ID. Mm-hmm. I'm like,
because they probably have a copy of your signature.
I'm like, we're not in Georgia. You can't ask for my motherfucking ID. You don't want me to vote for Bernie Sanders? Like,
yep.
So that's another
they try to not accept it. I was like, you're not going to deny me to vote and stuff like that. I think they didn't I think they just excluded my vote that year. But that was the only year they ever gave me an issue for that.
Yeah.
But that's interesting that you brought that up because
there's another possibility, right? So similar to you, up until a year ago, I've only ever had my mom's address, right? That's the most consistent place
hell
that
yeah,
my mail
I move
goes.
around a lot.
But if I'm somebody who has moved from Queens and I now live inside of my current apartment, I lived there for 10 years, and I'm a registered Democrat, technically I'm not registered in your district. So I can sign your petition. I'm like, oh, I live there. Unless you've updated your registration to say oh, I've moved.
Yeah.
You're still technically registered in a different district at your mom's place,
Yeah,
right?
no,
So even if you sign for me, that could be disqualified because you're out of district.
Yeah.
So there's tons of ways that they can do it. So you can have the most greatest intentions in the world and have the most cleanest petitions ever. If somebody doesn't write their name out, there's
the witness,
any
the
reason
witness,
you can get
the
your
witness
petitions.
has to be a registered voter too.
Witness for what?
The person who's witnessing, collecting your
Oh,
signature.
really? Oh, the person that's going to knock on the door.
Yeah,
Okay.
it can't just be anybody doing a favor for you.
Okay, so hopefully it's somebody that you vetted,
Yes.
and right if it's not yourself, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So so they was basically able to take off a great chunk of my signatures.
Thousands, a lot,
actually, wait.
man.
So they challenged. I believe they claimed that I only had 200 valid signatures, right? So then the Board of Elections, now you have to go to the Board of Elections. And the Board of Elections can review your petitions, and if they deem that 200 is inaccurate, because they also go through it. So it's one, you could get challenged by the Board of Elections, but then simultaneously you could get taken to court for it. And then I know people who have gone to the Supreme Court and has been thrown off of there. So it's there's tons of different ways that you can be thrown out. And that's a system that's awful because one.
And I'm imagining because the process is so quick, you're going to these courts
how
lightning fast.
How much?
It's the longest process
everything
ever.
takes long as fucking courts.
It's politics, you
Yes.
know.
No, but I mean,
Civil
if this
court.
is thing from March to April, the election's in June. Wouldn't you need a determination of whether your petitions are
So
valid or
I
not?
submitted
quickly?
my petitions April 3rd.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know officially that I was on a ballot up until
3 weeks?
It took about 3.5 weeks.
About 3.5 weeks.
I feel like that's
Yeah, that's fast as fuck.
That's fast as fuck.
But
yeah.
In the
No,
criminal
no,
world,
like-
cases last like 18 or 24
Okay,
months.
all
In the
right, I
civil,
guess
in the
that's
civil
fair.
world, like divorce
5
cases,
years.
That's
3
fair.
years, 4 years. Civil cases,
Yeah,
5,
yeah.
4 years. Yeah, I
But
mean,
that-
Like, you're telling me you can get to the
No,
Supreme
we New York
Court in
City.
3
So,
weeks?
so wait,
Shit.
so thank God I didn't get through that, right? Like I didn't go through the full scope of everything.
Yeah.
Thank God that like
well, the time frames are so short. So how could they couldn't hold you guys up past like the time that shit actually happens?
No,
I
it
mean,
has to
there's a
happen.
candidate
Yeah,
right
because then
now-
that would be
Right.
Well,
unconstitutional.
there's a
Right.
candidate right now who was thrown off the ballot because of the challenge. I won't say who the person is. I think
your-
that-
You can
Your
whisper it.
district?
No, not in my district.
Oh,
You want to mouth it?
Yeah.
Like
Different
this
district.
would just be
Different
like,
district. I can't, no free publicity here. But they were thrown off. They then had to challenge to get back on and go to court. And I think up until like 3 days ago, they didn't know if they were making it to the ballot, and now they're on the ballot.
Oh, good for
because
them.
they had a successful challenge to the challenge.
Solid.
So like and that's why you need a lawyer, because then you're going into court for the first time not knowing anything, trying to defend your petitions, not knowing how to defend your petitions.
What to say, what to do.
So you're
how much did that cost? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like if this is
it was
Thousands.
So all right, so here's the piece. I discovered that I needed a lawyer probably like 2 weeks. It was like 2 weeks left in the petitioning process. So I've already collected tons of signatures.
Yeah.
And then it was like, you don't have a lawyer? That's wild. So thank God I had a deal.
Somebody
But it was
put
just
you
like,
on.
oh, it's like only 2 weeks left. I'll charge you $6,000 for it.
fuck.
that's a retainer right there.
For 2 weeks worth of work, it was like $6,000, which, don't get me wrong, great work that's gone into
Flat
it,
rate
but
or hourly?
It was
rate?
just fat. It was just a
Flat rate?
Flat rate.
Okay, yeah.
So like
That's
for
pretty
those,
expensive
but if I was
for
to
2 weeks.
contract them for the full sum, because
Yeah.
that lawyer,
And you still haven't gotten that
Like-
matching money yet.
It would have been like 10K.
Right.
So 60
like,
is
they-
like a good chunk of your fundraising.
yeah. So you have to like literally fundraise every single day.
It's a problem with
Because one, there's also another piece where it's like
Is it?
some candidates pay to get their petitions collected, right? So you can outsource, get a team of folk that's like going door to door or knocking and collecting your petitions for you, or you're doing it yourself with volunteers or whatever. So there's so many different things that you need money for in order just to like be the basic candidate that like you have to be fundraising on a daily basis in order just to keep up.
We have public defenders to provide free. You're still a public defender.
Yes.
Until I can convert you, and I was a public defender for like over 7
Donate,
years.
and I will stay a public defender.
All right. Well, I'll still work. I'll still work on you. And I was one for a while, where I grew up. For the same reasons you guys went into politics, the exact same reasons. And there should be, there's free public legal services in family court, in housing, landlord-tenant court. There should be, if we want to have a truly democratic
Yeah, for sure.
a society, we should have free legal services for this.
Yes.
Because
Facts.
money in
Yes.
politics
Yes.
is the fucking problem.
Yes.
It's Elon Musk, it's Donald Trump, it's all these fucking rich people that can buy their way into politics, that can flood the money with shit so that way they're the people on the face, and then the people that have enough money to then buy them off. Like, I'll send you $1 million, but I'm gonna tell you what the fucking policy is gonna be. I'm gonna tell you what the agenda is gonna be,
Yes.
and then like you guys have genuine reason,
Genuine.
I speak for a living.
That's okay.
Genuine.
You guys got genuine reasons and desires to be in this for the right reasons. That could have been maybe articulated a little better.
That sounded
And
good.
it was all right. Yeah, it was
Once you figure out genuine.
very hard. I'm very hard on myself. And like that's what you want in a politician. There's nobody in this country that doesn't want that. And then the idea that I'm gonna throw that one out. That you are blocked out because of money, and then the reality is, if you get in, you're gonna have to fundraise for the rest of your fucking time in there, and continuously. That's gonna be maybe the largest
But you
chunk
see,
of
once
your
you
time.
get in, it's easier. It's people like myself who is getting started.
But
it makes
still,
it
once you
hard.
get in,
Yeah.
you're still gonna have to continually fundraise.
So this is the
when
issue
you-
right now. So I would say this is where it happens, right? Everybody's gone through this process, and everybody knows that this process sucks.
Hell yeah.
But once you get in, you're in.
People know
you want to
you.
protect yourself now, right? So I'm not going to update any law or policy that's going to then dictate
Right.
making this process easier,
Right.
or give somebody the upper hand, because
Right.
then I put my seat at jeopardy, right?
Right, but
So
it's not. But this is the like.
It's-
That's not what. Like, then don't be a fucking politician.
Exactly.
Right, like, cause then, let me tell you something. There are things you can do to better your. Like, I never saw myself leaving public defense. I
It's some money.
No, I got into public defense because of the things that happened to me by police, right? I sued the police and changed stop and frisk because of the things that happened to the people that I love and to the people in my community. I stood up there and testified in federal court because of that, not because of me. I stood up for all that, and then I dedicated my legal career to representing people that I know were unfairly targeted, my people that were unfairly targeted in my community where I grew up by the system that fucking that puts their boot on their neck. And I did this for as long as I could, right? And then I went out and made money for myself.
Cash
Right?
money.
You can there's better ways for you to make money than yourself than politics. If you're getting in there and be like, I like this, I want to stay here, we've lost the point. Once I've lost the point and in my heart I couldn't do it anymore because I realized the management, not the people on the front line, because I got so much respect for you. Even though I want to pull you away from there, I
I'm having a good time. I like my job.
I got so much love and respect for you for still being there.
No, I
Like
love
I
that.
look up
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you for that.
Yo,
but like
I'm top 5 dead or alive. I'm still good at my job. There's a reason why I got time for this. 'Cause I'm great.
It's a good time. Legal is a great place. But like once that illusion was broken and I felt like cannon fodder, I had to leave and I had to like try to provide a life for my family. But like then I knew I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't give my heart to it, so I left. Right? Like if you get to the point where you're like, this is what I want to do and I can't prevent anybody else from doing this because I like this, leave. Right? Because you got
should do.
well that's what
People ain't gonna do that shit.
but like that's why we're in
like
the
pillows.
That's why we're in the situation we're in. That's why we sending people to fucking death camps. That's why we motherfucking killing due process, even though Barack Obama killed people without motherfucking any due process in foreign countries that were American citizens. Consistency.
So I love that Cha said that. So I come from a family who has had significant run-ins with like the law, right? All of my brothers have gone to jail, right? Like we've all made some like poor decision based on access, right? Like the biggest piece around it is like people make poor decisions because they have lack of access, lack of education, lack of just like opportunity.
Also
right?
design. It's designed this way.
Oh, but then that's the piece behind it. So one of the biggest platforms I'm running on as a city council member is really around justice reform. Like how do we reform a system that is heavily corrupt, that's heavily against people like me, people that's like my siblings, people that have lack of access to everything. Like these systems right now are put into place to hold people back. And that's really why the biggest piece of me running is just like, I want to make a district, a New York City that is just for people, that's fair for people, and that is just humane. Like stop and frisk is inhumane. The police brutality is inhumane. Like all of that stuff is impactful. So like the work that y'all do is actually like super commendable.
So that's a good segue, right? Because I feel like I would have liked. I feel like we got decent into the process of running into for city council, but sometimes we need to do part two, sometimes we don't. But I feel like we definitely should cover.
Yeah.
What is the job? Like what are you running for?
Yeah.
What does city council member do if you were to get elected? Like what would be your day to day, right? Obviously, because you're running for the job. I would imagine you understand what the job is. What does a city council member do?
What role in
what
society?
do they control? What don't they control? Obviously, I feel like being city council of one of the biggest, most wealthiest cities in the world probably has its perks. So like what? You know what I'm saying? Like it's probably it's more powerful.
You can
than
definitely
average.
get upgraded tickets in Turkish Airlines. Here's looking at you.
So, all right, bet. The job of a city council member,
And how do you execute change with the role? Right.
gotcha.
What is the job and like what? How do you
And
execute
then how you
change?
execute
Objection,
it?
compound
Okay.
questions.
So the role of it is, and it's a vast role. So
Yes.
there's a bunch of things that go inside of it. But I would say like the biggest three that I want to pull out of that hat is one is legislation, right? Like you are making a city fair and just. There's 51 city council members, right?
Okay.
So there's specific ones in each borough. They all come together to do a vote, right? Like whatever they're passing needs to be the majority vote. So one of the biggest legislations that they passed, well, some of the things I think is the biggest ones is they've got rid of brokers fees
For
in New
fair
York City,
housing,
right? So like now, if you're looking for an apartment, you cannot be charged a broker's fee unless you are personally looking for a broker. Right, so there's legislation that you can have significant impact on inside the city, and that's one of the roles of a city council member.
Okay.
The second one is managing the budget. You
Okay.
are the one that's allocating money for specific things.
Discretionary
So-
funding. That's what we're applying for.
right? You get to have such a big power in how New York City spends its money.
Okay.
Can
And
I
it's-
interject?
Yeah.
That's the part that interests me the most
Hell
when
yeah.
it comes to schools. Our schools in our neighborhoods need so much more, and if you start funding the schools the right way at an early age, you have less high school dropouts. The foundation at the beginning is so important. Yeah, I just wanted to include that part. Yeah.
Now, we're a 501c tax exempt charity, and this is my first year of going through the process of applying for discretionary funding, and there's so many rules. I I feel like that's a whole separate conversation of the process of applying for discretionary funding. But going to what you just said, I know you give discretionary as a city council member, you have a certain amount of budget to give discretionary funding to nonprofits in your district. Are you also making decisions on funding school? Like I guess what I know there's discretionary funding and then there's capital funding. Like I guess try to break that down if you can.
So there is money that is just New York City's budget. Right? So NYPD, public safety, all of those things, right? Like you have a very big role in managing and allocating money inside of there. So like the mayor makes its proposal, city council has that power of vetoing and just checking balances and reallocating and doing all of those things, right? Then you have this secondary funding role where it's like you're pumping money into your district for whatever things that is important for your district. So if it's more legal aid service, right? If it's more food access, if there's programs that people want to, or businesses or opportunities that people want to get up off the ground, right? Like that is stuff that you are able to do within your district, while also kind of like looking at the larger scope of the city's budget. So it's both. It's like a mixture of both of those things.
Word.
But then the third part of what they do is you are advocating for your district. So you are the elected person that your district says like, we want you to represent us at the table when you talk with this group of 51 members, right?
The Republic.
So it's like you need to be like so tapped into your district. You need to know that has a crack in the street and this park doesn't have rims and like there's a lot of crime that's happening in this park at night, and it's all of those things that like one, you have to then be able to like meet with your constituents, be a open ear to everybody, get as much information engagement, bring that back to the table and make sure that whatever you're deciding on works for your district.
This is the interesting thing for me. Where does this happen? Because there's so many different people in every district, right? And like you have older people, right? You have church people, you have younger people, right? Each of these groups, and I'm sure there's other groups I'm missing, have their own problems and issues. They also like I guess commune in different areas and different places, right? Older people will go to town halls. Church people, you find them in the church, right, or the mosque, or wherever, like the religious centers, or the temples or whatever. And then young people are hanging out wherever, or outside, or doing whatever they're doing, and they're all dealing and struggling with different issues within the community. I see like, big like mayors and shit, they're always going to two of those communities, right? It's like,
or doing the photo op when the
right,
opportunity
it's
comes.
the
Going where?
to two of those communities.
Oh,
Mostly.
okay.
It's the town halls and the churches, and the town halls and the churches, and then not really focus on everything else that's going on, right? How do you get the like? How do you kind of like address everybody in the community's issue? Is that possible?
And
right?
I wouldn't say it's possible. I say that it's your job of why they've elected you to make that happen. So you have to be the creative person. There's city council members that run town halls. I would say this: a successful city council member meets you where you're at.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So if it's a housing meeting, you're at that meeting. If there's a community board meeting, you're at that community board meeting. If there is anything that's happening, you have to be present. You are the person that they've elected. You are now getting tax dollars that's paying your salary. And for some who are disconnected, that's really just like, oh, I'm going to put my head down. I'm just going to make policy because, I feel something passionate. That's just only like a bit of the job. The actual job is being outside.
Yeah,
it's
talking to
being
people
inside of your community.
Yeah.
It's getting to know all of the issues and then having the creative solutions to fix that. So I would say like it's not impossible, but that's why they're electing you. So that way you can hear why they are upset.
And I also feel that it's important for people in the neighborhood to go to town hall meetings, to go to community board meetings, to be involved, to call and ask for what they want.
PTA
and just,
meetings,
yes,
all of those
PTA
things.
meetings, just all types of meetings, and just be involved in your neighborhood, which I started doing so much more, not just this last
I gotta put these
year.
bad boys on Netflix.
Yeah, just
Gotta make it easier. Gotta make it easier for a homie, bro.
I mean, when you're so like, this is like when you're so like most of the people in our communities are so. What's the word I'm looking for?
Disinterested.
No. It's not that.
Okay.
It's more aligned with. Help me guys out, right?
Disillusioned?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There is a.
I feel like there's
two
two sides to the same coin.
They're just disassociated with that.
It's
Exactly,
just like
yeah.
you experience so much of we know you don't care. We see how we are treated. We understand the work. Like, just because you live in a certain neighborhood and it doesn't mean you're fucking blind or stupid or have a lack of comparing how you're treated or certain communities are treated versus others, right? So like, I don't blame somebody for disconnecting or for saying, fuck, am I gonna go to a community board meeting? They're not gonna listen to me. They don't care about me. Like I like, it's like, it shouldn't, it's like, my philosophy has always been, it's the parents' person, it's the teacher's person, it's the adults, right? The quote unquote adult's responsibility to fix the issue, right? And if you are an elected official, it's your job to meet me where I'm at and come and try to get me to engage, right? Like I've always been, I'm gonna share this personal story. Sometimes I gotta think before I speak. When I was in first grade, almost kindergarten, actually, factually.
Okay.
Fuck that. I ain't scared.
Go for it.
That's all right. Hopefully it doesn't get me dispersed.
I share all my fake stories under the adventures of Gene and Ev.
This is the adventures of me actually literally story.
I got you.
I got kicked out. I've gotten kicked out of every school since first grade.
Including
for
your first
every-
law school?
No, I didn't get kicked out of law school.
Oh,
I went to 2 colleges, but literally every 3 high schools, everything. And I had a learning disability. There's a lot of shit. I'm black and white, so that's also like an issue for me. I'm a very light-skinned black person. I have issues. So like, can I get a little bit of sympathy?
I got you.
Oh, listen.
No.
Thank
Thank you for wiping the tear.
I was like,
No.
that's beautiful.
Thank you. No, but so in first grade, I got kicked out of my first school, and the Board of Ed tried to label me emotionally disturbed. They told my moms and dad that I would never be able to function in society. I would need some dead serious. I would need somebody to be. I would need to be taken care of for the rest of my life.
What?
I'm dead serious.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I mean,
You're having a good time.
I've done pretty well for myself.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
They should get audited. All right, you were slightly off.
My mom's told him, like, you don't know who my fucking son is and who's gonna be, and she's, told him, fuck you. And I was just very dyslexic and shit like that, and I can't remember where this point was going, but like I can't remember where this point was going. I did too many sidetracks. I may have ADHD too. Shit.
We were talking about the role of city council.
Right. Like I just feel
And
like
meeting the people where they're at.
right. I just feel like like the teachers that have always have always like came to me, right? Like and I just feel like I like whether it's been law enforcement, whether it's been fucking schools or whatever. I've been so disillusioned from society and like the structures of how the system works. I'm not mad at nobody for not believing in it or not wanting to associate and only focus on their family and their loved ones and so on and so forth. And like, I also not mad at them and feel them and empathize with them and desperately want somebody to break that and come and be that. Like, that's why like somebody like Bernie Sanders was like the only motherfucking politician in my lifetime. And like, like as a black person, I was happy for motherfucking Barack Obama, but like the only person who like, I was like, oh shit, this motherfucker is, he may be real.
Can I respond?
Yeah, please.
As an educator myself, who obviously wants to bring this passion to my immediate district.
Hell yeah.
I feel that people have to share more of who they are and what they need, because sometimes people are hiding because they might feel embarrassed.
Oh.
And I understand, because maybe I've hidden sometimes, but if people go to these town halls, if people go to these community board meetings and just talk about who they are and what they want and not stop knocking and expressing and demanding and also come as a team.
Not everybody's a leader like you. Not everybody's as strong as you.
District 9, vote for me.
No, but people need leaders like you, but not everybody is. You know, and like, and that's the thing. We have to like, not everybody is, and that's why people need people like y'all, because not everybody is. And people want that.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember any of the bad teachers. I do remember the good ones. Yeah, and the ones that met me, the ones that worked with me. Because like I said, I got kicked out of a lot of schools. Part of that was my fault. A lot of it was my fault, but also a lot of it was not being understood. A lot of that was not, was not being met. No belief in me. I used to think I was stupid for so long. Yeah. Until like I was like 17. I used to think I was stupid.
And it's frustrating. It hurts.
It hurt. It hurt. It was embarrassing. But like, it wasn't until like I figured out that I was just so much smarter than most people. No, I retained information. I understood shit, and the people that were getting A's next semester later on, they didn't fucking knew anything that they were doing, and that made me think like, maybe they're not as smart as their grades reflect on them.
I have two things for that.
Well, they just tested well.
I would say
I never tested well. I still don't test well.
I've never got kicked out of a school.
Yeah, first
Test
time.
well enough.
First time.
Test well enough.
I really don't like police, and the idea of just getting them on the stand and just getting them in the position that I've been in all my life is just. Oh man, nothing gets me happier than making you uncomfortable.
See, but I feel like in politics you need people that have had lived experience. So similar, I was labeled ED as a kid. I never got kicked out, but I got suspended from elementary to middle school probably like 45 times. It was like every other day I did something ridiculous.
So like
To hide that.
Disturbed seems like
Crazy, right?
Like a strong title for a child.
I mean,
Emotionally disturbed.
First grade.
Maybe like emotionally challenged, but like emotionally disturbed seems harsh.
I'm gonna be honest. I deserved the classification. I did. I wilded out. And it was for the same exact reasons, right? Like, I felt super disconnected. I felt so stupid in school. Like, I remember in 4th grade, I had like a writing assignment, and my teacher was just watching me write. And I wrote like do now, and I wrote it in like the most weirdest way, which is like the most basic words. But it was like Dow how, and like, it just never clicked that like that didn't make sense to me, because I could perfectly read that. But it just never clicked. So like I struggled academically inside of school, and it wasn't until I had a teacher, and I know he's probably pissed off with me because I say this story every time, but he changed my life. Like without him meeting me where I was and like investing into me and making me believe that like, oh, I am actually a good learner. Like I can apply all of these things in other ways, right? Like he just bridged his gap. And ever since then, like I have been able to succeed so well because he gave me tools. He gave me the understanding that like this classification doesn't mean that this is who you are as a person, right? So like up until like 7th grade, I got like 55s. Like that's an F. That's not even like you did nothing. Like you just showed up to school, to class, right? And like I just got it, and I got passed every year. Like thank God there was no child left behind at that time. Thank God, and I had an IEP.
And then when we have
like,
to
they wasn't
remember
holding me back for
these
nothing.
overcrowded classrooms.
So like I got pushed, but it was until I met him. His name is Noah Mackard, and I just want to note that like he changed my life. Like my dad passed super young, so like I was 5 when my dad passed. So like I have 7 brothers, so it's 8 boys altogether. Single mom raising 8 boys by herself. And like up until I met him, I had like no sense of direction, no sense of understanding. And like he just basically allowed me to be me. Like he just unlocked something inside my mind that allowed me to like be critical. And I feel like that applies to the city council role because it's like, you do need to meet people. There are people that are disinterested. Like when I first ran,
rightfully so.
When I made my announcement, there's my friends that's like, oh, how are you doing that? I would have never been able to run. And it's not that hard to run. It's things that you have to like deal tediously, but it's like they were just so shocked that like somebody that they knew from that neighborhood was able to run and do all those things. So it's like you do need to meet people where they at and bring them up.
So like going on top of it, like meeting people with that. I feel like it's meeting people with that, but it's also like I feel like so many things in life are like it's not even that the people that aren't interested or not like willing to be involved like in going to town halls or whatever. It's just that they don't understand them, right? They don't understand the value. They don't understand how they work. And it's kind of like why I started Attorneys of Swag.
Yes.
The idea is like if you just kind of break it down a little bit more simpler, people will go, okay, that does seem like hard work, but now that I understand the work, I'm willing to contribute.
I also feel that needs to be published more so that people know. You know, these districts, they're big, you know, and if the central office is in one place and you live 40 blocks away from that, you just might not know that that's a place where you can go and advocate for yourself or to find out information about housing or find out information about getting a liquor license for a business or find out information about more funding for a library. It's just the information is not always just right there in their faces.
Or a cannabis license. I'll at me.
And it should now. So I feel like a good.
I got one.
Closing, like bringing it back to the beginning, but also closing it out. When you first started this process,
Full circle.
Yeah. What was was there a Mr. Miyagi who was like not gatekeeping that was willing to break it? Like, what was the greatest resources in terms of understanding the process for you two guys' experiences? Like, did it come down to a person? Was it an organization? Is there like a simpler way to learn the process if you're starting from the beginning?
So I can go first. I go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was no person that has been like somebody that I can call up and say like, hey, I need help.
Really? No.
I've learned from just like hearing.
Peeping game.
Like I just walk by a room and I hear like, oh, get your petitions. Just bam, got it. You just like, you have to be in the right place and right time
Peeping game.
to like catch things. So
crazy.
I mean, now I have, so like I've been able to like go to a lot of events, meet a lot of people. So like now I can call somebody, right? I can like network and do that. But
Yes.
it's like at first,
Yes.
if you don't have somebody that's on the inside that can actually just say like, hey, petitioning is coming up in like 2 months and you need to build this petitioning team. You're gonna have the day of petitioning come. You're gonna try to figure everything out the last second, and then you're gonna struggle through everything.
And so there's no central FAQ advisory board. There's no number, nothing.
On my first
fucked up.
meeting that I met my campaign finance liaison, I was like, hey, like, is there like a campaign
resource
manager that I
area?
can reach
Yeah.
out to
300
or
page
something? And it
book.
was just like, we don't do that. Like, I don't know anything that you can do. So, I mean, like, you have to figure it out on your own.
It's part of the
Thank
filter.
God, like
Yes.
for me, like I
Yes.
say this again, if you don't have enough like drive or connect or just something,
that passion.
you will burn out.
So if your daddy wasn't the governor who built all the prisons upstate, and then the former governor yourself, and then now running for mayor, then it's kind of hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
We should. So like, fuck you, Como. Oh, sorry. I do not work here.
Guest host.
Just a recurring guest.
Reoccurring guest.
I'm like the guy who like, I don't know, stirs up shit.
But yeah. It's unless
Sorry.
there are people. Don't get me wrong. There are people that have people. There are people that have people. There's people that have people in their court, and they can do all of those things with money or with like connections. But if you're an average person, average Joe, a regular everyday person,
It's
you
hard.
need to be everywhere all at once to get all the information.
All right. Well, when we're fully funded, we'll put a little part of the website just for this. We're all about breaking down barriers and murders
Hell
and
yeah.
gatekeepers.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
Resources. Yeah.
Resources,
Let me say something.
We
on
want
the
everybody to
positive
fish.
end.
Uh-huh.
I think that this has been the most challenging experience of my life.
Word.
Like I have worked in call centers where like I'm talking to kids that are like, on the bridge of suicide. I've done advocacy work. This has been the hardest thing for me to navigate through because of one, you just have to figure it out on your own and you don't have support. So on the opposite end of it, you're meeting people, you're engaging with people. They feel like you're building some sort of connection. And then the next time they see you, they're like, I remember this person knocking on my door a couple of months ago. Oh, I see them on a ballot. I believe that this person can make a change. And I think those slight connections are actually what makes this process so much doable. It's just being around the people that you know that you're going to be able to like care for and just take care of and advocate for. Like once they believe, that's the motivating factor behind all of this. So that's actually what's pushing me through. Like being able to meet people and just like build these like super dope connections where like people are just like, I remember you.
Yeah.
That's super dope to me. So I appreciate that.
For me, it's actually learning what to do and what not to do, but also as an educator, being able to at some point write about my experiences so that the younger generation can also learn and become more involved. Black, brown, Latino people, women like myself, so that they could know what to do and have that literature out there, both in English and in Spanish, because I am bilingual, Spanish speaking. To me, that has been the best prize ever,
Can I ask one last question? How long has the incumbents? All right, cool. How long have the people you guys are trying to dethrone?
I feel that for me, there was a special election because it happened during a pandemic. So this would be the last term.
Oh, so this is his. How long is he? 3 years?
You get 3 terms.
You got 3
Three,
terms.
oh,
yeah.
they're
You get
term
3
limits.
terms.
Yeah, they're
These
term
are
limits.
term seats.
Yeah.
I think these last couple of elections have been 2-year seats, so they have been
Because of the pandemic,
anomaly.
right? Yeah.
I don't know exactly why, but yeah, I think it's
I think it was
pandemic-wise,
because
but
of the
they're 4-year
pandemic.
seats.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
can't. So he's not running again, or
The person is running.
So they're running,
Yes.
I guess, for their
their last
term.
term?
Their
Oh,
last term,
okay.
yes.
And then after that, essentially the pool, more people would be running on
Right.
that, and it would be his predecessor, right? Fuck, I don't know.
The person.
Predecessor. See, now I'm fucking everybody.
Yeah.
up.
I think that's the right one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then
No,
it'll be that.
predecessor was before.
Oh, you're right.
Is it?
You're
So
right.
it'll be
Oh,
his,
okay.
Yes,
his,
predecessor.
his,
It'll be
his,
your-
his junior or his.
No, it's predecessor. No.
predecessor's behind.
Pre.
Before,
Yeah,
before.
Jesus.
That is right.
Pre-
That is
before.
right.
Shit.
Right.
Math and literature. Holy
No,
shit.
he is his successor.
Successor. Yeah.
I would have never.
That's
We're gonna take that part out. Edit that shit out. What about your guy?
I'm running against a lady.
Well, I meant non-gendered guy. I
I'm
didn't
running
like
a person.
Yeah.
And this is also their last term.
Okay, so the last time that they can run.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably okay. All right. That's a stupid question, but strategically, is that the better time, or is it when they go up against the?
No, this is the worst time.
This is the worst
This
time.
is the worst time to run against somebody. I'm running because ideally, one, I've been born and raised inside this district. I have so much connection to people inside the district, and I think the person who's in the seat right now,
Sucks.
right, like they are filling a need where a need is met, but there's a larger population that just needs support, that don't have that type of connection to them that needs to be represented. So I think that they do, great work. They do amazing things, right? But I think that there's a piece about I can see people struggling.
They do fine. You do better.
Who said that?
I said that.
Who said
I said
that?
that.
I can even
Yeah,
say
that was me.
So that's like the biggest piece.
And
of
I'm
it.
bringing passion for my
yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
That other person does fine,
I
but
would
you do better.
imagine,
Yeah.
Obviously, we won't know until we know, but I would imagine there's great benefit to learning the process just in case you have to do it again.
And you get your name out there, and you get your
Yes.
face out there, and then
Yes.
that next year when
Yes.
that other guy who
There's
he
no better
picks.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Then actually, yeah. So it's a great process where like you now, next time I run, there's like this great mind map that I have that like now I can map out. And one of my bigger goals is that I actually want to be a pipeline for people that's in my neighborhood to run for other seats, right? Like my biggest passion is I want to be somebody else's campaign manager, and I want to be able to get as many people who are disillusioned or disassociated with the process to actually be a part of it, because that's how you make change. Like right now, people feel like I can't make change because nobody cares. Nobody cares because you're not getting involved, and you're not involved, so your messaging, your lived experiences aren't being represented. So my goal is like learning this process right now, and then being able to be that book for the next person that wants to come. So like my biggest goal for the next election cycle is helping as many people as possible know exactly what to do.
I do like that social media helps us spread more information. As an educator myself, I want to educate younger people, to obviously register to vote, but become involved in their community. And I think social media could definitely help with that.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool.
I think that's a good way to segue. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Tell us if we missed anything out. We'll definitely do a second episode. I feel like we've covered a lot, but I feel like there's still a lot left.
Yeah.
But that's just the nature of Attorneys with Swag. I feel like we definitely love to get into the weeds. Before we leave, if there's anything,
That's not there.
if
That
there's
weeds.
anything, it's
Sorry,
legal,
man.
baby.
Yeah. I get into that weeds all the time.
If there's anything you want to say to the audience before we leave, I know you want to give them your law firm information.
Oh,
Tell
yeah,
the
yeah.
audience. Hey, let's start this way. Go.
Okay, all right, yeah. You know who I am, David.
Owlick?
Yeah.
The second.
Yeah. Attorney at law. I work at the Sclavos Law Group now. Holla. 917-572-8599. That's my personal.
So my name's Elizabeth Sanchez. I'm running for City Council in District 9. My slogan is stay positive, make change. I believe that if we stay together in Harlem, we can really make a difference and make our community a better place to live for everyone. And give me an opportunity to show you that.
Oh yeah.
We're doing slogans. Okay. All right, dope. My name is Shakur Joseph, like Tupac. You can learn you can learn about me by visiting my website, shakurforthebronx.com. My slogan is fighting for tomorrow. We're in this fight to make a better Bronx for everybody. You can
baby.
Love. You can also follow me on social media. All of my handles are the same. It's Shakur Council 25. But biggest goal is just making a bigger impact for everybody here in New York City.
And that we out, man. Catch us next time. See ya.
Should've seen it coming like a prophecy, cause the work got us moving with velocity. We beastin' now, it's a monstrosity. We the plug to the source, unshockingly. Wow, what's he really gonna do now? Jolts in your system better stay on the ground. Volts in the circus is a spark to the sound. The energy that entered me are jewels in my crown. Wow, that's how it's always gonna be. You'll never really get it like NRG. Could do without the static and the flattery. Chill before I catch a charge like battery.
No style, what? Turn your energy up. No work, what? Turn your energy up. Too wild, turn your energy up. Turn your energy up. Energy up. No style, what? Turn your energy up. No work, what? Turn your energy up. Too wild, turn your energy up. Turn your energy up. Energy up. No style, what? Turn your energy up. No work, what? Turn your energy up. Too wild, turn your energy up. Turn your energy up. Energy up. No style, what? Turn your energy up. No work, what? Turn your energy up. Too wild, turn your energy up. Turn your energy up. Energy up. No weakness, just energy. Just energy. Just energy. No weakness, just energy. Energy. Just energy. No weakness, just energy. Just energy. Just energy. No weakness, just energy. Energy, just energy. No weakness, just energy. Just energy, just energy. No weakness, just energy. Energy, just energy.